So understand that in as much as we are humans and your loved ones are your loved ones, on a larger scale, they are instruments of God to use to constantly reshape our characters. And it has to be painful because in my case, it has to, like, there was nothing that could have pushed me to reshape and reconstruct myself if that level of pain was not there. So understand that also the level of betrayal has to be big enough for the level, and because for to be big enough, because the level of change you have to make has to be that big enough, and that pain has to motivate you to be able to make that change. So my point is, betrayals, disappointment, your ability, situations that require you to forgive is a gift and a blessing, because once you have been able to pass that stage, it is a stage of, it is a like in games, when you play games, you have to learn a certain type of lesson before you are able to move to a higher stage. That is what these betrayals, these lessons are for, because the skill set you need, which is one of the things that you will gain through the process of having to forgive, is what is required in the next stage of life that you're going to. And you wouldn't have it any other way, because if you are able to see the bigger picture, like in the case of Jesus and his disciples, when for example, when Peter was saying that Jesus cannot wash his feet, and Jesus told him that. And when he would say some kind of things, and they would say, God forbid, that maybe when he said he was going to die on the cross, say, God forbid, that he told Peter that he's the devil, that he should get behind him. Level of Jesus knew the level of suffering that he had to go through. And a lot of times in the Bible, 3 times he prayed that God should let the cup pass over him. But then, understanding the bigger picture, saying that if it is his will, let him drink of the bitter cup. So my point is, we as human beings, in whatever it is that we see, we are limited by what what we see in the present. But if we are able to see the bigger picture, if you are able to see the better person, whether it is consciously, psychologically, mental maturity that you will attain when you are able to pass through this process of forgiving this person. Because for you to forgive, you have to understand the true forgiveness without hurt. Forgiveness means remembrance without pain. For you to actually elevate above that pain, when you remember, it has to be backed up by a level of understanding. Because if you are not, then if you are just suppressing that feeling, that's not forgiveness. That's just you trying to suppress. And that is actually one of the most unhealthiest thing for you to actually do, to suppress whatever it is that you're feeling, because it can result into diseases, right? So my point is, forgiveness comes from an in-depth understanding that humans are not just humans. Your loved ones are not just your loved ones. They are also divine instruments that is placed in your life, and sometimes cost to act a certain way just so you can grow. Because if this person do not behave this way, you cannot be able to learn the lessons that you need to be able to get to the level of understanding, which is the next stage of growth in your life. I don't know if I'm able to explain that perfectly, but I hope this sets someone out there free, that when you're forgiving, you are not forgiving because you're doing the other person a favor. Because the truth is, whether you forgive the person or not is not stopping them from taking whatever lesson that they had to learn from whatever happened. Because at the end of the day, whether you forgive them or not does not make things go worse for them or bad for them. Understand that they are on their own journey. They are on their own journey of growth, and they they are put in that, because anybody could have betrayed Jesus, but Judas was the most suitable because of his level of growth, which is greed, and him being the treasurer, and him loving money, and him esteeming himself highly more than other disciples, and thinking that Jesus is, if he had this much power like Jesus, he would have been a better person. My point is, other people also, they are in their own level of growth, and depending on their own level of growth, they will be used as instruments, number one, to make you a better person, and also for them to also learn their own lessons. So when you see this for what it truly is, it becomes easier for you to forgive and forget, and pick the lesson that you're supposed to pick, and just move on. Just move on. You really have to come to a point where you detach your expectations and feelings from human beings. And this is not because you don't want to be emotionally invested in things or human beings, or love them for that matter, but you have to come to a point where you understand that you understand humans for who they are, which is that they are weak, and not just weak. First of all, they are used as instruments to be a lesson to you. Maybe this is something that you have to fix about yourself, and this person, on a conscious level, it has to be people around you that will be used as instruments of lessons to fix, to identify what it is that you have in your life to fix. It might be independency, it might be for you to fix that you are too you are working so hard and you don't have to work so hard. It can be that the lesson might be that you should let go and just be free. Whatever lesson it may be, whatever lesson it may be, understand that the universe is constantly using people around you to teach you, and also you as an instrument to teach them. So you have to come to that point where you understand this, and see whatever it is that is going on in your life as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to adjust, readjust, reinstate, acquire new habits, drop new habits, constantly keep shaping yourself until you come to that point where you are filled with only love, and you can only express with love. So, and by that, it comes from and by that it comes from an angle of deep understanding and peace within yourself, that